Hello there and welcome to another Elite FPL video with myself, Steve, where I just talk absolute nonsense. Just give you a general idea of where my head is at for the rivals, so they don't copy. But in all seriousness, right now I'm on a break. I'll explain all that in the Total Steve podcast. Bet you can't wait for that if anybody even bothers listening to it. But yes, I'm on break and I was just thinking, do you know what, to hell with it. I'll just talk some fantasy football for a bit and where's your head at? Who sang that again? I forget. Wow, wow, wow. There's your copyright strike. But no, where is my head at now? Well, I'll tell you where it's at. It's at a 3-4-3 as it stands right now. I'm personally thinking from my own personal perspective that I think the strikers, there could be some really good value. The two additional strikers to Haaland that I've got are, yep, it's that Jackson. It is Jackson at 7 million. And the other one is Alvarez. Now, those two individuals I'm predominantly thinking I'd rather have them ahead of Morris of Luton, or if it's looking more and more likely Foden isn't going to be starting for game week 1, I think that Alvarez is pretty much one of the best options to have from Man City, in my opinion, because from what I remember from last season and certainly from these friendlies and everything, he seems to be actually getting quite regular starts. He seems to fit into Pep Guardiola's system. Anytime he does play, he seems to score. And I think that the opening 8 fixtures for Man City / Alvarez are actually pretty good. I think that they are the kind of teams that Pep Guardiola will happily play around with his certain individuals, but I think it'll be giving players like Alvarez that confidence boost to be like, you know what, go and get yourself some goals against this rubbish. Prove to me that you should be in Haaland's position. You should be taking his spot. And yeah, the fact that Foden's minutes are essentially going to be monitored / quite literally slashed, and I just think that the safer option for a second Man City asset is Alvarez. The only other dilemma I have with my team, really, and it's not even a dilemma really, it's whether I have Trent or not. Now, I have got a relative plan that I've written down on a piece of paper, how I want to see my transfers going, and because without saying this line over and over and over, but this season I just feel is going to be very special. I don't know why, I just feel this season is going to be quite special. I think that if we all have a plan in place, if we actually hold still and just not be too knee-jerk, I think this season could be one of those where we actually reap the rewards for being patient. Certainly, again, from a Sky Fantasy Football perspective, I've written down the transfers I want to do, and again, I'm a complete novice to Sky Fantasy, but the one thing that I feel is almost necessary is having a captain on every single game day. That's just, again, from my point of view. Now, does that mean that I think that someone like Morgan Gibbs-White is going to outscore someone like, I don't know, Salah, because I've captained Morgan Gibbs-White? Not necessarily. There's always that backup reason. There's always a reason why you've got Morgan Gibbs-White in ahead of Salah, for example, or De Bruyne, or Foden, or Saka, Martinelli, whoever. But right now, I'm very comfortable with seeing how Chelsea. Well, I'm not seeing it. I'm basically hearing Trigger Lips talking about it, and various threads. I say reading as if I'm reading various threads. I see someone's written a 30-page document essay on Chelsea. I'll just scroll to the bottom, and it will just say Chelsea assets are potentially worth jumping on, especially Jackson and Chilwell. All right then, cheers for that. Brilliant. I'll do it. That literally is what happened the other day. I just saw someone write this huge thread on how a particular team plays and so on and so forth, and all I was thinking is, well done. You've put in a lot of time and effort into this thread. I can see that. But to be honest, I don't need to read it because you come to a conclusion and it just says what you need to know. And from my standpoint, knowing how Pochettino plays and the way that it would appear that Jackson and Chilwell and Maatsen are going to be key to Pochettino's team, I'm excited to jump on Chelsea almost immediately. Certainly, I don't think there's anything to fear with Liverpool at all, especially from an attacking perspective. Like, do I imagine in my head that Chelsea can't score against Liverpool? No. Do I have in my head that Chelsea can't score against West Ham? No. And then they got 3-4 really easy fixes afterwards, and I think that if predictions like we all go for, we feel are good enough for you to have that in the selection, do I see Jackson getting attacking returns in those opening 2 fixtures? Fuck yeah. Why not? Why not? I mean, from Trent Alexander-Arnold point of view, it's really just a case of, well, what do I do with the additional money? Where do I put it into? Could I go for someone like Harry Kane? Oh wait, he's supposed to be going to Bayern Munich apparently. I still don't think that will happen. It'd be amazing if he did. Then of course other players come into fruition. Richarlison is a prime example. Son is a prime example. Which in turn means that if Eze isn't performing, I can use that money that I haven't spent on Trent and upgrade Eze to the likes of Richarlison, to the likes of Son. Now with my team at the moment, as it stands right now, and to be honest, as I keep saying, when you don't go on the site with your team for a few days, which I haven't, and you're getting a few ideas from, well, in my case, just thinking and going to yourself, I don't like this 3-5-2. I don't like it. I like this 3-4-3 where I'm pretty certain that Alvarez and Jackson could have some fun in those opening few fixtures, and they're differentials. They're certainly players that a lot aren't going to be looking at. And from my personal standpoint, I think so long as I've got the core template players, which I'm happy to have, and I've got that. In fact, if I didn't have Trent Alexander-Arnold, it would mean that potentially I could upgrade in game week 2 someone like, for argument's sake, Saka to Salah, just for argument's sake. But certainly, like with all of us as we're approaching, because I can't believe in the next, it's less than 2 weeks, so 12 days to go until the start of the Premier League season. And it's crazy to think that this is when it all kicks off. This is when we're all going to be making sure that we've all got our plans in place and all making sure that everything's going smoothly, and all our teams will be locked at this point, and we're all going to know that, oh wow, Foden was the right choice after all. Why did we bother bringing in Trent Alexander-Arnold? But I think quite a few of us are adamant on this. I'm happy to wildcard on game week 4, 5, 6. Jump on those Liverpool assets. Jumping on those Liverpool defenders. Or more specific, those Liverpool assets. See which of these teams and their players are actually performing. Is are the likes of Arsenal actually doing what we're expecting they're doing? Are they just going to actually sadly collapse? And it is the likes of Liverpool that take advantage, or Tottenham, which essentially make sure that they're on top of their game and are challenging for the title. And I certainly think though after the first 4 or 5 game weeks it will be that case, and I think many of us will decide, you know what, if I haven't got those right players in now, to hell with it. I'm gonna hit the wild card and bring in those performing players now while I can afford them. So I do think that this season the price changing market is going to be very volatile. Certainly, as we know in the opening, the opening 4 to 6 game weeks, players' prices just shoot up. They skyrocket, and I'm hoping myself to be able to catch those price rises and not have such terrible team value like I did last season. But yeah, anyway, that was just a quick little video to show you where my thought process is at the moment while I'm on a break. And like I said, you'll be able to hear about this break on the Total Stever podcast. Cheers for watching. See you later.